Hey, how are you? I am so glad to see you this morning. It has been a few weeks since we have been on here. Sorry about that. We've been taking a little rest. We've been hanging out in Ohio. Today, though, we've got a really fun-filled adventure that we're going to be going and exploring a site. It's going to be an exciting time. I'm going to enjoy my coffee, and then it's time to let some puppies out.
Alright, so these puppies are walked. Let's go ahead and get our clothes on so we can get on the road and let this adventure begin.
We almost left you. Let's go. We have got a fun-filled day. Come on. We are so glad that you are joining us today.
We're on an adventure today.
We're visiting some place that is super old and the site of one of the worst accidents in U.S. history.
The site of this horrendous event happened in Ashtabula, Ohio, which is in Ashtabula County. Population of Ashtabula is about 18,000 up in northeast Ohio, about an hour east of Cleveland, Ohio. Ashtabula actually borders right on Lake Erie. It's a lovely little town. We've actually been in the area for, seems like months, but about 3 weeks now. We've been exploring quite a bit. We went to the beach and we've had a really good time, and we just happened to run across this horrendous event.
It took place in 1876, so it's been a little bit of time, but someone very, very famous was actually killed in the train accident. We're going to be going to Ashtabula, telling you the story of how this accident happened and why it happened.
Just hang tight where you are, and we'll be there shortly.
Let's go.
It goes round and round in circles, but I'm still on the ground. It's a dizzying day. I would give a lot to get away.
Our first stop was actually going to be the museum where they hold a lot of these artifacts from the train wreck, but they don't open until 12 and it's 11. So guess what? You are coming to lunch with us at Geneva on the Lake. We're gonna go grab some lunch and then get back to the museum and check out these artifacts before we go to the site.
We headed over to Mary's Kitchen, which is nestled on a dead-end street right next to beautiful Lake Erie. Geneva on the Lake is a village in northeastern Ohio. Geneva on the Lake is a little resort town with mid-19th century cottages and inns located on the banks of Lake Erie in Ashtabula County. We chose Mary's Kitchen for a brunch. It is a super cute little mid-century cottage that was turned into a breakfast/lunch restaurant. We absolutely love visiting mom and pop restaurants and diners. I think it really gives you a feeling and culture of a particular area. Jen ordered avocado toast with over medium eggs and a side of hash browns. I ordered a Cajun chicken omelet, which turned out to be fantastic. As a family of foodies, these types of places really get us excited to be out and exploring. Food is the fastest way to our souls, and we seek out local gems everywhere we travel.
I don't know about you, but I am full. I need to get in my seat, stop talking, because we have a museum full of artifacts to get to before we get to the other site. So let's roll. Well, we just got here and it looks like it's locked. I tried to look inside, but it doesn't look like there's anybody in there. This view is pretty incredible though. Listen to the amazing waves from Lake Erie. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do the museum because nobody's there and nobody's answering the door. Although the sign does say that it's open from June to Labor Day. Don't worry, we've got some fun coming up though. So let's get in this van and get to our first stop.
I can't believe you beat us here. We're here at the cemetery. We invite you guys to come along with us. Let's find out a little bit more about this very tragic disaster from the late 19th century.
It's just really surreal to be standing here. I mean, wow, the fact that so many people passed away and they're right here. Whenever we do these kind of things, we like to take a moment of silence for those people, because can you imagine what that is like to hear the creaking of the bridge, to hear screaming, things, the fire is igniting, and you are in this train car not knowing what to do. There was only about 60 survivors out of the entire accident. The fire chief even, when the fire broke out, he did nothing. He did not tell or instruct his crew to put out the fire. So people were literally burning to death inside of these cars when they could have been saved. One of the most famous passengers was Philip Bliss. He actually was a hymn writer, and he wrote many famous songs that we still sing today, one of which was called "It Is Well With My Soul." He was also a famous abolitionist that helped to abolish slavery. He was traveling on the number 5 train from Buffalo, New York to Chicago, Illinois. His trunk actually survived the accident, and inside they found a hymn that didn't have any music to it. They found someone to write music for it, and it was one of the first recorded songs by Thomas Edison. It was even rumored that on the night that the Titanic sank, they were playing one of Philip Bliss's hymns to keep the passengers calm. Philip and his wife never made it out of the wreckage, like 92 other souls that perished along with the train. The good thing that's come out of this tragedy, though, is the laws are now changed for railroads. There is inspections for engineers to have to really go over the bridge. There's so many things that could have changed what happened here. Just the heaviness of being right here is huge. It is huge to stand here. And even something that happened so long ago had a big impact on this town and this surrounding county, because there was no hospital to take these people to. They didn't even have a coroner. They decided after this accident happened, they were going to build one. They were going to build a hospital in Ashtabula in 1904. That way people would have a place to go when there is something wrong. So with tragedy does come positives. These townspeople continue to remember the lost from the Ashtabula River disaster.
Now let's keep this day moving. We're going to roll on over to the crash site and see where this all went down. Ashtabula is located at the mouth of the Ashtabula River on Lake Erie, 53 miles northeast of Cleveland, Ohio. Like many other cities in the Rust Belt, it has lost population due to a decline in industrial jobs since the 1960s. Beginning in the late 19th century, the city became a popular coal port on Lake Erie at the mouth of the Ashtabula River northeast of Cleveland. Coal and iron were shipped here, the latter from the Mesabi Range in Minnesota. The city attracted immigrants from Finland, Sweden, and Italy in the industrial period. Today, Ashtabula is unfortunately one of thousands of small towns across America that has faced social and economic hard times.
Look at you beating us here every time. This is actually the accident scene. There's a lot of stuff that is still intact, that has fallen down, that we can look at. And we're gonna tell you the story of how this happened on the way down there. Let's go. This accident, this disaster, prompted a lot of change. And one of those changes was that the citizens of Ashtabula raised money to build their own hospital. And the hospital was built in 1904. From the accident trail that we're about to go down, you can actually see the hospital. Check this out. It is right over there. There's the hospital, and here's our trail that we're headed down. have to walk on this really easy path. I mean, it's about 65 degrees out today and it is June 1st. The path is fairly easy. It's kind of flat, it's mulchy. I mean, if you had an all-terrain wheelchair, I think you could make it on this. Let's dig into what happened. This all started when the president of the LS and MS Railroad decided that he would buy the patent to the Howe Truss Bridge. And it just so happened that Howe was his brother-in-law. The man that bought the patent was Amasa Stone. And Amasa Stone was very full of himself. When he started building this bridge, he had engineers come in, and the first engineer partnered with him. Amasa wanted all these changes made to the Howe Truss Bridge design. And the first person said, nope, this is not gonna work. You can't do an all cast iron bridge. It's gonna be a disaster. So that guy was fired. Then he brought another guy in, and the other guy said the same thing. You can't do this. This isn't gonna work. So then that guy got fired. Basically, Amasa Stone had someone that would do the changes that he wanted to do structurally to this bridge. The problem with that is that the bridge was so faulty. Amasa Stone himself said it was very experimental, and he really didn't know what he was doing. He wasn't an engineer. He was the president of a railroad company. The safety checks didn't happen. There literally was none. Back in 1876, you were supposed to have inspections on the bridges. Unfortunately, they didn't have any done. This bridge was built faulty. The design was horrific. That's what led up to this accident. One tiny little piece in the bridge was what caused it. When the train was coming across the bridge, the station's about 1,000 feet from where the train was. In order to get across the train and just coast into the station, they have to cut their engines. Well, because they cut their engines, the bridge started to buckle. The driver in the first locomotive sped as hard as he could to try and get the whole train across the bridge. Unfortunately, he only got his car across the bridge, meaning the rest of the cars behind him fell 75 feet into the river to their deaths, pretty much. And you have to remember, the conditions were not 70 degrees and beautiful outside. It was December 29th, 1876. There were no lights out. They couldn't see. It was pitch black. The snow was blinding. As soon as the cars landed into the river, they started bursting up into flames. They went from one side to the other, and that was what killed the majority of the survivors. The alarm was sounded that there was something going on, and the fire chief and his crew shows up. But unfortunately, the fire chief did not give any orders to help put out the fire. So people were literally dying. You could hear their screams. They could have been saved, but the fire chief at the time felt like he didn't need to put out the flames. And so he didn't. It was widely spread that he was a drunk and he didn't make very good decisions. This man is here and could have saved a lot of lives, but he didn't. Can you imagine? The townspeople got together and started getting buckets and started putting the fire out. So truly, the townspeople were the ones that saved the most amount of lives. They came down the embankment with their axes and anything that they had to be able to start rescuing people from this fire. All because of Amasa Stone and his need to be right, his need to have that power and design a bridge. And he designed it completely faulty. I'll leave the Wikipedia link down below. So if you want to get all the information with all the tiny minute details about this, click on the link. It's a fascinating read, but we are here to our spot. Let's take a look at where this happened.
Here we are. Can you imagine 147 years ago, pitch black dark, Ohio winter. I'm going to assume the river was substantially higher too. I don't know if you can tell, but it's not much more than just a bubbling stream now. But if you look around, you're able to tell at one point this was a much larger river. But pitch black, 1,000 feet from their stop, and this engineer starts filling this bridge drop a little bit at a time. And before he knows it, everything he had been towing for the last 200 miles is falling 75 feet below them. They obviously built a much more secure, better structure out of cement, but 150 years ago, the engineering wasn't there. You know, there wasn't the regulation we have today. So I can just only imagine being here in the snow. I'm 6 foot tall, and they were saying 6 foot. So that's pretty unbelievable. That's a horrific scene. I can't imagine what the people went through on the train, and also the people who tried to rescue it. It had to be a traumatic time in their lives. It's pretty surreal to see it and be present in the spot. It's a little creepy and a little eerie, to be honest with you.
I mean, these under my feet are from 1876 when the train crashed, and that's part of the old bridge. Like, it's a surreal feeling to be standing on the bridge that crumbled. This behind me is the embankment that the citizens of Ashtabula were falling down in order to get to the river disaster. It was up to the residents of Ashtabula to come together to help save as many people as they could. Go take a look and see how high up this really is. Okay, so I am going to attempt to climb up here to see just how far the Ashtabula residents had to climb down. And there's rail beams up here. Yeah, you've got, that's some of the old bridge right there. Man, this is some treacherous climbing. I still have this far to go. Like, kudos to them for making it down this thing in the snow. Oh boy. Well, I'm right here. We're almost there, I think. I'm hoping that there's gonna be an easier way down. Ow. Investigative journalism, right? Oh, is that what this is called? Oh, my goodness gracious. The bridge is right here. It looks like normal tracks right here. This is what the people riding the number 5 train saw. The train was coming from this direction. Remember, there's snow everywhere and you can't see, it's pitch black out. The train's coming this way, and right about here is where the bridge started, and the first locomotive felt that the bridge was crumbling, and he gassed it to the other side. The station is about 1,000 feet away down there. Standing here on top of the new bridge definitely gives you some weird feels. But I think it's good. I think it's good to go explore your own backyards and go see amazing and incredible places that are a short distance away from you. Granted, you may not live near Ashtabula, Ohio, but I promise you there's some awesome adventures wherever you are from. This sure was an adventure, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna get back down. Of course, after I climb down and get all of these fun things, there's a train back there going by. That's how it works, you know? It is steep. I will say that is really, really steep. There's not a lot to hold on to. A lot of the branches are dead, and so I didn't want to grab onto a dead branch. So I cannot imagine trying to slide down that in the snow with as many hazards that is up there. Those townspeople just jumped right in and started saving people. And, you know, I think people save people. They really do. It ends at a somber place. I think this hike is beautiful. It's through the woods and you really get to reconnect with nature. You're by the water. I think that's why people visit cemeteries a lot, because of the peace, the quiet, you know? It's calm. And I think that's what this is here. This hike is just stunning. You've got the river back here. You've got these trees. It's mostly quiet aside from trains going by. But if you want time to think, you want to reconnect with nature, find one of these hidden gems in your backyard. You know, we want to inspire you to go on your own adventures. And I promise you, you don't have to drive very far. Man, this was really beautiful, and I'm so glad you're here. Now, we have to go check on some puppies. Come on, let's get back home and get to those puppy dogs.
Honey, you have to unlock the van.
I have the key. Man, it's hot.
So we're gonna hop back on this road and we're gonna go check on those puppies.
Yep, let's go see those puppies. Who is ready to see some puppies? I think the puppies are ready to see us.
I hear them. Let's go see what they got going on.
Oh, there's the... No. Oh my goodness. Oh, the puppies. Come on. There's the puppies. Oh my goodness. Come on, the puppies. Oh, the Wheezy and the Kevster. I think they're so excited to see us. But we've got groceries to put away. We've got to love on some puppies because they're so excited.
Hi guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. I hope you guys enjoyed that adventure. Let me know down in the comments below if you enjoyed this type of video. And why don't, get out and find your own adventure in your own backyard. Who knows what you'll run into. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Goes round and round in circles, but I'm still on the ground.